Hey everyone! In the last video we learned how to develop an MCP server and also how to run it locally. In many cases we would like to share our MCP server with other developers so that they don't reinvent the wheel and can use our MCP server for their use cases. In order to do so, one way is to just do it as we did in the last video. Running it locally. First, the other developer needs to clone the project and then run it locally using a command such as uv run and the path to our code, our main code. But this is not the best experience we can give to our community. A better and more standardized way of doing this is to make a package for our MCP server and then publish that package in a platform such as PyPI or TestPyPI. So in this video, we're gonna see the steps to publish our MCP server in PyPI or TestPyPI. And if you don't know what these are, don't worry about it. We'll talk about them momentarily. Doing this, one can easily use a command such as uvx and our MCP server name, and then they're good to go. So without further ado, let's start. So I'll be using the MCP server we developed in the last video. It was just 4 simple tools to convert units such as kilogram to pounds and vice versa, and from Celsius to Fahrenheit and vice versa. If you haven't watched the previous video on how to develop this MCP server, I strongly encourage you to do so, because first of all, you need to know how to develop and build an MCP server. And once you have a reliable one, then you can publish it and share it with the community. So in order to share our MCP server with other developers, first of all, we need to make a package for our MCP server. And in order to make a package for this MCP server, we need to add 2 Python files, a $init.py and main.py. This one, $init.py, this can be blank. We can leave it blank. It just tells the Python interpreter or the rest of the world that this folder is going to be a package for Python. And then we need to have another main.py, and this will be the entry point once we run this folder or this Python file as a module. So for example, in regular case, you usually have Python, whatever, main.py, for example, or uv run main.py. But if you want to run this as a package, you can say python-m main.py. And these two are totally different ways of executing your code. So if you don't know about packaging in Python, this will be a very good place to pause and do some online search about what is the difference between running a standalone code and running it as a package. But even without knowing this in depth, we can continue and go ahead with this video. We have our code in main.py. The tools are defined here. The MCP server is defined here. Once we have the package, we can then publish it to PyPI or test.pypi. And let's take a look at PyPI. PyPI comes from Python package index. And this is a central place that almost all of Python modules and libraries are gathered here. And whenever you execute pip-install and a library, actually behind the scenes, you're communicating with PyPI and you're downloading the Python library from here and installing it. So now we're gonna publish our package to PyPI so that anyone can easily and install our library, like pip-install and the library name, the module name, or using commands like uvx and our package name, they can easily run our tools or run our MCP servers. But one important feature of PyPI is that you cannot remove what you upload or publish here. You can only add newer versions, but the older versions are still there. So in order to be able to practice before publishing something here, one good way is to use another version of PyPI, which is TestPyPI. You can easily search for this one. It is almost the same as PyPI, but here the main purpose of developing this one, test.pypi, is that developers be able to practice and publish a package and also remove it if they don't want it or if it has problems, to keep PyPI clean while we practice here. So for both of these, the process is the same. You need to create an account, and once you have an account, you need to generate a token, an API token. You can go to your account settings, and in API token section, you need to generate an API key or an API token and keep it in a safe place. We will need this API token to publish our package to either TestPyPI or PyPI. Okay, so I would like to publish our package here because, it's not a very professional or standard or comprehensive package. This was just an illustration of how to develop an MCP server. So in order to be able to publish our package, first of all, we need to specify the entry point to our package. And this means if someone runs our package, for example, using uv command, for example, uvx, our package name, which function from which file should be executed. So we need to add another section, project.scripts, and the entry point or the command line interface name of our package. And conversion isn't a very good name here because I'm almost sure someone has published a package with this name previously. So let's give it a unique name, for example, mh conversion. Maybe this is unique. And once someone executes mh conversion after the package is installed, the thing that we would like to execute is in main.py or main file and the main method of this main file. If we head to the main.py, we can see we're running our MCP server inside the main method. And I'll also rename the whole name of the project here. We can specify our version. We can add some description, for example, MCP server for unit conversion, something like this. If we just want to publish to PyPI, if we're sure, we're confident about our package and we want to publish in PyPI, this version is enough. But if we want to publish to test.pypi, we need to add another section here. I haven't memorized it and I don't do this frequently, so I just copied and pasted this expression, these 5 lines. So the name for our index will be TestPyPI. The URL is this one. The publish URL is this one. And we set the explicit attribute to true. Okay, so now we're good to go. We can start building our project. By building, maybe you've come across the WHL or will files for Python packages. It's somehow like compiling our Python package. So we can easily build our package using uv build. Oh, we have a problem. Yes, a double quotation is missing here. Now I can execute uv build and done. You see, it's super fast because we're working with uv. And now we've built the package. Now it's time to publish our package to TestPyPI. And for that, I can easily say uv publish. If we want to publish directly to PyPI, this is enough. We can execute uv publish and we'll be done. It will ask for the username and the API key, the API token. and then we'll be done. But since I want to publish to TestPyPI instead of PyPI, I need to also provide the index. So the index will be TestPyPI. And as you see now, it asks for my username, or I can enter Dunder token Dunder if I'm using a token. And I am using a token, so this will be Dunder token Dunder. And now I need to enter my API key, and I pasted it. Of course, you can't see it, but I pasted it. And yes, we're done. Now, if I head to the PyPI and I go to your projects, you see, this is MH_conversion. Last released half a minute ago. So we have it here, and now I can use the UVX command. Again, if we publish our package to the original PyPI, then I can easily say, for example, UVX MH, what was the name? Yeah, MH conversion. And this was enough. But now, since I want to run this tool from TestPyPI, I need to specify some other flags. So this will be the command UVX. I need to specify the index URL, which is test.pypi.org. And I need to also specify the extra index URL. It means that if my project had some dependency that was not in TestPyPI but in the original PyPI, you should go and fetch that package from the original PyPI. And my package name will be MH conversion. Okay, you see, it installed the tool or the MCP server, and now it's running the server. But of course, it has no use for us in this way. Instead, what I can do is that I can easily add this MCP server using this command to the JSON file of VS Code's GitHub Copilot. So I can press Command Shift P on Mac or Control Shift P on Windows and add MCP server. Choose the type of the MCP server. It will be an stdio. And now we have the command to run this MCP server. And again, I will just paste it here. UVX, I don't need this backslash, and also this one, since I'm entering the command in a single line. And now I can say MH conversion. Again, if I had published this in the original PyPI, the command would have been just this simple. UVX MH conversion, done. But since we're working with TestPyPI, we should enter this one. UVX index URL, the URL, and then extra index URL, and this one, and then the name of the package. Okay. So this is good. I can also give it a name. So the name will be, let's say, MH conversion. Do I want it to be global or just in this workspace? So I just want it in this workspace. You see, it is running without any errors. The command will be UVX and the arguments are this. This way, if you want to give instructions to the rest of the world, to other developers, on how to use your MCP server, you can just ask them to copy and paste this part, this snippet. But as you remember from the previous video, the alternative and honestly worst way would have been to first clone the project and then use UV run and the path to the main file in their computer. So this is way better and way safer. And again, once you're confident about the whole process, once you've done this from beginning to the end with TestPyPI, you can go ahead and publish it directly to PyPI, the original version. So let's just test our MCP server to make sure it is published correctly and it is usable. So I can say, first of all, I can take a look at my tools here. I should be able to see it. Oh, yes, it's here. You see the MCP server mh_conversion, and these are the 4 tools. And I can say, for example, how many kilograms are for example 78.28 pounds. You see, it has to call the convert pounds to kilogram tool. I press the allow key, and you see we have the answer. The answer is 35.50 kilograms. And this was how it called our tool. The input is 78.28, which is true, and the output of the tool is this one. So you see, it works fine. We've been able to publish first of all, we've been able to create a package for our MCP server, and then we published our package to test.pypi. If you want to go one step ahead and publish it to PyPI, the original PyPI, you only need to change this Py project. You can remove these 5 lines, and you need to use an API token for PyPI, not for TestPyPI. You need to go to PyPI website and generate an API token and use that token when asked after UV publish comment. And then everything will be really simple, even inside this MCP.json. You don't need these flags, these attributes. You can easily say UVX mh_conversion. So I hope this video was useful to you, and from now on you can publish your MCP servers in a standard and professional way to PyPI, for example, or to TestPyPI. If you publish your MCP server to PyPI or TestPyPI, or you have any opinion about this video or any idea for the next videos, please go ahead and drop them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next video, take care.